NFL reporter Albert Breer just gave us a crazy rumor about Deshaun Watson that could take place this season, ladies and gentlemen, and it might harm Shedeur Sanders' chances of playing. You're not going to want to miss this. Could number 4 really be getting back out on the field? We're going to answer that question later in this video, but really quick, we're in a Week 11 sub-battle here at Chat Sports. The Ravens rundown has gained 430 new subscribers this week. We've gained 333 new subs. We're right there to beat them. I don't want to lose this. Browns fans, Ravens fans, and Steelers fans piss me off more than anybody else. We can destroy the Ravens fans and their channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Let's beat them on the field and off the field. Hit that sub button. All right, here's what Albert Breer had to say on if Watson would start before Shedeur Sanders. He goes, I wouldn't be surprised. My guess is they'd like to see both of them. The investment the organization has in those two guys is a different planet. Okay, first of all, get in the comments section right now. Give me a one-word reaction to the possibility of Deshaun Watson playing this season. You watched all the games. You're a Browns fan just like me. And it got really bad when Watson was playing towards the back half of his tenure in Cleveland. Give me one word in the comment section right now about the thought that he could return. Because my first reaction was just, I can't believe this is a possibility. I mean, we had taken this out of our minds. It seemed like we were just focusing on Gabriel and Shedeur. They're the two quarterbacks on the active roster, and that's it right now. Just the two young rookies. Perhaps that is the case because Watson is nearing a return, is starting to get healthy. I've got some updates to show you on that. But there is a point made here by Albert Breer. Shedeur is on a rookie deal for 4 years, 3 more after this year. The investment is completely different. Deshaun Watson is being guaranteed hundreds of millions of dollars to sit on the bench. Shedeur is not getting paid nearly as much, and he's already under contract for a few years on a good deal. And Watson, obviously, his clock is running out. I believe he's 30 years old. And so another development in the Deshaun Watson saga and his rehab, well, he just posted this on Instagram yesterday, November 11th, not too long ago. More pictures of him running around, working out, throwing with the caption, "Be ready." Ready for what? Is he coming back? Is this happening? What is going on right now? All of a sudden, reporters are speculating about it, and Watson is posting up a storm about how he's looking good and his rehab is looking great. So let's hear from the head coach. Kevin Stefanski was asked about this. The reporter said, would Deshaun Watson be cleared to practice this week? Stefanski said, yeah, I'm not sure if that's what we're doing. He doesn't know. We don't have a definitive answer. I mean, seriously, guys, seems like this is a conversation. But what I would take a step back and say to you is do not forget that our owner, Jimmy Haslam, called it a big swing and miss publicly. I mean, multiple times Haslam has referenced the Watson deal as being a bad hand for Kevin Stefanski and a literal swing and a miss. So the fact that they would even consider starting him before turning to Shedeur Sanders is ludicrous. I mean, seriously, who in that organization doesn't like Shedeur? It must be a Stefanski thing. We're going to talk about that later. But let's look at some of Deshaun Watson's numbers when he played for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, you guys remember how it went. Look at his QBR last year, 21. Multiple interceptions across all 3 years, and he's never played a full season for us. You know, back-to-back years, there was a season-ending injury, and obviously when we traded for him, we knew he was going to get suspended, and we still paid him guaranteed $200 million and gave up first-round picks. I mean, God, look at the QBRs over the 3 years. It was not pretty. Don't forget what we saw when Deshaun Watson was starting for the Cleveland Browns. Stefanski gave another, quote-unquote, update about Watson today. Well, actually, he just said, yeah, I don't have an update there. So I don't know if he's just doing what he usually does and doesn't want to tell us anything that's going on, or if genuinely they're not communicating with Stefanski. I mean, they didn't tell him when they were trading Joe Flacco. This organization, dysfunctional at the top is what I'm noticing. The other reality of the Deshaun Watson drama, though, is he was never benched. Not once when he was the starting quarterback in Cleveland. No matter how bad it got, did they ever make the decision to bench him for bad play? It always took an injury for Deshaun Watson to not be the quarterback of the Browns. So when he is fully healthy, you have to consider that Cleveland would repeat history and continue to do what they were doing, which is start Watson despite how bad he was playing, kind of what they're doing with Dillon Gabriel right now. And I have to say, with how bad Gabriel has looked the past few weeks, it might even be better to watch Deshaun Watson right now. I can't believe I'm saying that because, like I showed you, it was really bad when number 4 played there. But Dillon Gabriel right now, I'm really not seeing any sort of ability that I could point to or promise in Dillon's game right now. And I know there's issues on the Cleveland Browns, but he's not a mobile quarterback. He's obviously short, and so accuracy has to be his number one thing. And he's missing easy throws. A lot of development needed there for number 8. And like I said, if they really were to do this, if they really were to start Deshaun before Shedeur, I think that's a telltale sign that Stefanski and Shedeur aren't meant to be together. They're not trying to go to Sanders because Stefanski picked Dillon Gabriel, and that was their pick in the NFL draft this year. And look, you all know, leading up to the draft, Shedeur was a top prospect. This is what Mel Kiper raved about. His numbers at Colorado were impressive. He led the FBS in completion percentage, y'all. I do believe there is upside here. I believe that there is potential with this kid. And so to go back to something that didn't work, which in Deshaun Watson, before seeing number 12, I mean, that would just be crazy. And I think it would show that the Browns are done with this season. But like I said, there is a vast difference in the investment that the Browns are putting into those two quarterbacks. And so if they think their season's done, there's a real chance that they would go back to Watson. What would you want the Browns to do, Browns fans? Pick your quarterback for the rest of the year. These are the options. Type 12 if Shedeur Sanders should be the starter going forward. Type 8 if Dillon Gabriel should remain the starter. If you think once Watson's healthy, it's time to get him back out there, you can type 4. So it's a horror movie, I know. But pick your number, put it in the comments section, Browns fans. Curious what you want to happen this season. Coming up on the show, the Browns signed another wide receiver to the active roster. Is that a sign of who will play quarterback? We're going to talk about the receiver they're bringing in. But first, super excited to tell you guys that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but that feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays. All is right with the world, and I'm big into daily fantasy with Prize Picks. I'm obsessed with it. It makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. You can also follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. I've got a lineup as always. I like Drake May more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's been lighting it up this year. Bo Nix, more than half a passing touchdown. And Javonte Williams, more than 73.5 rushing yards against the awful Las Vegas Raiders. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. The Cleveland Browns have announced that they signed wide receiver Kaden Davis to the active roster. You may remember this name if you are the kind of crazy diehard Browns fan like I am that was watching preseason football. Well, then you know the name Kaden Davis. But let me tell you a little bit about him. And if you've been watching the show, we had some watch parties during the preseason where Kaden Davis made an impact. He really was a preseason standout. What I like about Davis is he is a bigger receiver. 6'1", 193 pounds. This year, they've used him in the return game as well due to some injuries to DeAndre Carter, and he had one kick return for 28 yards. But now he's officially on the active roster. Doesn't need to be elevated like the one time when they used him. And remember, he caught 2 touchdowns in preseason, both of them thrown by Shedeur Sanders in that Panthers game. Could this be a little omen, signing a receiver that Shedeur liked in the preseason, that Sanders could be getting in soon? I do think regardless, that wide receiver room needed some more help. Isaiah Bond was not able to play last week when we finally got Cedric Tillman back, who's working his way in, got 4 targets. I did like what I saw from Seti, and Judy got a lot more involved last week, so that's good. Gage Larvidan's on that roster now. Also, we're sprinkling in a little bit more Malachi Corley, which I like his end-around specifically have been going for some big gains. And so adding a 6'1" Kaden Davis I think will be good. I don't think it solves all of our issues. But like I said, he balled out in the preseason. I'm glad he's earned his way onto this roster now. And let's see if we can turn to Shedeur and they could have a little connection in the regular season this time. That would be electric. Show Kaden Davis some love, though. Like the video if you're excited to bring back the preseason standout wide receiver, bigger fella. I think he could add some verticality, some deep threat action for the Cleveland Browns and would be able to help either rookie quarterback that is back there just to have a bigger target. So show some love. Like the video if you are a diehard Browns fan and you're excited when we add players to the roster, good players specifically. Thank you guys so much for watching this edition of the Browns Report. Go on over to X and follow me at JoeyO70 if you want to talk more Cleveland Browns and get more quarterback updates. I'm on there tweeting all the time. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video and be the first person to know about Browns news. Join the family here on the Browns Report. We thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.